had the vote. We've been doing it. This is the third or fourth time that we put it forward. It's not going anywhere. They can run, but they can't hide. The American people's voices are going to be heard loud and clear about their dismay of this war of choice that Donald Trump has put America in.
And of course, Brent, still a lot of US forces deployed in the Middle East, especially around the Strait of Hormuz. Just remind us of what assets the US has there at the moment.
Very much so. The Pentagon has repeatedly made clear that all the assets in place, including aircraft, naval vessels that would be necessary to resume major combat operations, are very much still in the region, and in some cases have been reinforced. The naval vessels in particular have been extremely busy. They've been enforcing the blockade on Iranian ports. In the last update we had from Central Command, which oversees military operations in the Middle East, they said that to date 97 vessels have been turned around and 4 have been disabled at sea during the enforcement of this blockade. So the forces are very much still there, and that does give President Trump military options should he choose to return to combat operations. And those military options could take different forms and be of different sizes, ranging from kind of limited strikes to a resume of the countrywide strikes we saw during Operation Epic Fury.
Okay, Brent, thank you very much. Brent Busman in Washington. Now, as we've already heard, the Iranian blockade of the Strait of Hormuz and demand for tolls to allow ships to travel through is a sticking point in discussions. The UK's Foreign Secretary, Yvette Cooper, has joined the criticism of Iran. Take a listen to what she had to say.
It is disgraceful that Iran is still trying to hijack the whole global economy by preventing international shipping getting moving through the strait. So that's why the UK and France have together been leading a coalition of countries both to maintain pressure on freedom of navigation, because no country should be able to restrict international shipping in that way. It's also why we've been drawing together a maritime mission for when the conflict is over, and why we're also supporting the negotiations that the US has underway with Iran and supported by mediators at the moment, because we need to get that Strait of Hormuz open. That is impacting on the whole world and on fertilizers as well as fuel prices as well.
While the naval arm of Iran's Revolutionary Guard claimed today that 35 ships had passed through the Strait of Hormuz in the past 24 hours with permission from Iran. State media said the ships included oil tankers, container vessels and other commercial vessels. Independent tracking still shows traffic running at a fraction of normal levels. What Iran's newly formed Persian Gulf Strait Authority also published a map on X outlining a controlled maritime zone which ships cannot enter without approval from Iranian authorities. Crucially, that newly claimed zone stretches across the strait and includes the territorial waters of both Oman and the United Arab Emirates. Michelle Visa-Bachmann is a senior intelligence analyst at Windward. She told us right now the situation in the strait is very complicated.
The toll arrangements are really not clear yet, and also there are a lot of carve-outs for countries that have been able to make their own separate agreements with Iran, such as China, Pakistan, India. I think Japan also seems to have been able to negotiate transits, and also vessels that are coming in and out to serve Iran don't appear to have to pay the toll. And also the fundamental principles of the freedom of navigation, which underpins globalization and seaboard trade, are at risk here if the toll is allowed to be applied.
Let's turn now to Lebanon, and officials there have again accused the Israeli military of deliberately targeting paramedics as Israeli airstrikes continue. The Lebanese Health Ministry said Israel was defying international resolutions and showing contempt for international humanitarian law. It said 2 paramedics and a child were among 6 people killed in an Israeli airstrike on a village near Tyre on Friday. The ministry said 4 other paramedics had been killed in an overnight Israeli raid in the nearby town of Halawiya. Israel says it is targeting the Iranian-backed group Hezbollah. Our Middle East correspondent Sinjab is in the Lebanese capital Beirut and sent us this update.
A video circulating online showing an attack in the south of Lebanon. People were rushing for help, and the minute the ambulance arrived, another attack.
না তো কোন তো
This
পাওয়া
is
যায় না
a continuous situation that the government here in Lebanon is accusing Israel of deliberately attacking paramedics. At least 6 paramedics were killed between yesterday overnight and
গলা
today.
ভাঙছে
The total number of paramedics killed since the 2nd of March exceeded 100. Israel
And
says
Kundai,
that they
lastly.
are targeting Hezbollah facilities and that Hezbollah is
এটা আসলে কি অবস্থা কেমন লেখাপড়া চলে
is to transfer people. The government is denying these accusations and saying that
Oh.
paramedics, attacking paramedics is
Yeah,
against
যাওয়ার আগে ছুটি।
international law. This is continuing to happen in various locations in the south of Lebanon. Although the ceasefire has
পুরোটাই loss
been
হইলো তোমার।
extended for another 45 days, but Israeli attacks in the south are continuing. Despite
ঠিক
talks
আছে।
that took place also in the US, supported by the US, there is no sign of Israelis stopping these attacks on civilians and paramedics. The Hezbollah also are saying that they are firing rockets and continuing attacks against Israel in a retaliation for the continuous Israeli violations for the ceasefire. The situation in the south is far from any ceasefire. It's a war zone. On daily basis, there are attacks on villages. There's demolishing of villages and towns and homes. Thousands of people are still displaced. Evacuation orders are also continuing. And there are over 1 million who were forced to flee their towns and villages are still scattered across the country. Here in Beirut, the government set up a new area for them with tents so that they can stay in, providing hygiene facilities as well, which is a sign that they have no trust and confidence that these people are able to go back to their homes anytime soon. The government is still determined to continue with negotiations, to continue to find a political solution to this war, but there is a lot of skepticism about Israel's intention and willingness to end this war.
Reports have suggested one reason President Trump called off new military strikes on Iran was over concerns from Saudi officials about the annual Islamic pilgrimage known as Hajj. Pilgrims have begun to gather in Mecca in Saudi Arabia for the largest religious gathering in the world. But this year it comes during the conflict in the region. With more, here's Greg Holyoke from BBC Monitoring's Middle East and North Africa team.
Hajj is the largest annual gathering on earth. Every year, millions of Muslims from across the globe make their way to Islam's holiest site, the Kaaba, in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. But this key Islamic rite has also become politicized. We've seen recent regional reports suggesting that Gulf leaders, especially from Saudi Arabia, have been encouraging President Donald Trump to hold off on possible during the Hajj season, citing an atmosphere of Hajj across the Muslim world. The Gulf is a key hub for long-haul flights, but the recent Iran war led to a huge reduction in air traffic. Thousands of flights were cancelled, with severe economic impact on Gulf countries. And for Saudi Arabia specifically, the current calm has one specific economic advantage. The Saudi economy benefits by up to $12 billion every year from religious tourism. After oil, it's the biggest source of income the country has. And much of that comes during this intense, short period. That's not to say that Saudi Arabia hasn't used access to these sites for political reasons before. For almost a decade, hopeful Iranian pilgrims were denied access to Saudi Arabia until a landmark 2023 deal brokered by China restored diplomatic relations. But during the Iran war, we saw Iranian strikes directly hit Saudi soil. Despite this, from Iranian media reporting that we've seen, even in the past few days, citizens are still making their way to the holy site for the Hajj. In fact, on some social media in the region, there's been speculation that it was pressure for the pilgrimage that brought about a ceasefire in the first place.
Whether you are joining us on YouTube, TikTok, Sounds, radio or TV, thanks for your time. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the Iran War Today.
BD views. BD views. BD views.
শুভেচ্ছা আমন্ত্রণ করে বাংলাদেশে শুরুতেই সবাইকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি বিডি নিউজের বিশেষ বুলেটিনে। আপনাদের সাথে আছি আমি সুস্মিতা দাস। ইরানের একটি সামরিক কর্তৃপক্ষকে কঠোর হুঁশিয়ারি দিয়ে জানিয়েছে দেশের সশস্ত্র বাহিনী যে কোনো শত্রুতামূলক পদক্ষেপ মোকাবেলায় সম্পূর্ণ প্রস্তুত রয়েছে। দেওয়া বক্তব্যে ওই সূত্র জানায়, যুক্তরাষ্ট্র তার মিত্ররা যদি কোনো অজুহাতে ইরানের বিরুদ্ধে নতুন করে আগ্রাসী পদক্ষেপ নেয় তাহলে তেহরান